millions of citizens dressed in black have poured into the streets of Tehran. This multi-day procession spans several major cities as the country turns out to mourn the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. The sheer density of the crowds reflects a moment of intense cultural weight. People are pulling together, physically and emotionally, creating a display of national unity in the wake of a sudden leadership vacuum. Yet missing entirely from these public ceremonies is the newly designated supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. His total absence from the most significant national event in modern Iranian history points to an active shadow war. Intelligence reports indicate the highest levels of the Iranian government are currently operating under the threat of imminent assassination. A leaked New York Times intelligence report reveals exactly how close that shadow war came to boiling over. During recent highly sensitive ceasefire negotiations, Israel was actively preparing a covert strike. Mohammad Bakr Ghalibaf. Targeting military commanders on a battlefield is a known strategy. However, planning to eliminate diplomatic envoys as they return from peace talks marks a departure from standard engagement, threatening the safety of any third-party mediators involved. U.S. officials believed that assassinating active negotiators would have likely derailed ongoing peace efforts, leaving both nations with few diplomatic options other than a broader military confrontation. American intelligence officials recognized the severity of the plot. They feared the Israeli prime minister intended to sabotage the fragile negotiations entirely. To prevent the region from catching fire, the U.S. government executed an emergency diplomatic maneuver. They quietly used regional third parties to send an urgent warning directly to Tehran about the impending Israeli strike. Following this tip-off, Iran took drastic measures. Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf was scheduled for a diplomatic flight to Islamabad. Before allowing him to take off, Iranian officials demanded specific security guarantees from neighboring airspace authorities. The military response was significant. Pakistan deployed fully armed fighter jets to surround and escort the Iranian plane the moment it entered their airspace. The threat of total regional collapse forced a bizarre geopolitical reality. The United States had to actively step in to protect its greatest adversary from its closest ally. A flight path tracks from Islamabad toward Tehran. Iranian intelligence detects a critical breach. Hostile Israeli fighter jets, shown as red markers, enter western Iraqi airspace. Initiating emergency protocols, the flight path banks sharply north to put distance between the commercial jet and the fighters. To avoid an aerial ambush, the plane is forced out of the sky. The pilot executes an emergency landing in the northern city of Mashhad. The delegation is quickly transferred to an exposed road convoy, driving fast along the desert highway to complete the final, dangerous leg to the capital. A single missile strike hitting those SUVs would have destroyed the Iranian negotiating team and removed the primary diplomatic channel for de-escalation. By attempting to kill the negotiators, Israel aimed to hollow out Iran's administrative capabilities and induce widespread internal chaos. This is a textbook decapitation strike, a calculated military effort to force the collapse of a government by systematically removing its highest-level operators. Having survived the ordeal, Foreign Minister Araghchi took to public platforms with a sweeping condemnation of the entire Western security apparatus. Araghchi argued that the long-standing American military presence in the Middle East does not provide safety. Instead, he claims foreign intervention creates the conditions for regional instability and anarchy. Iran is now leveraging this assassination attempt to build a new diplomatic narrative, telling neighboring states that relying on Western military alliances is a fatal mistake. This map illustrates Iran's proposed alternative, a regional security alliance led entirely by Middle Eastern powers, effectively replacing the current nodes of American influence. Back in Tehran, the streets remain flooded with millions of mourners grieving under a hazy sky. While the public spectacle looks like a nation paralyzed by loss, it masks a deeply united and highly calculating leadership structure that just survived a near-fatal blow. The U.S. warning prevented a specific disaster, but it also left Iran with the political room to pursue a region where security is managed entirely without a Western military presence.